Math Lesson 9, Take 1. Hi, boys and girls. How are you today? This is Mr. Reuter. Nice to see you. And of course, I brought my friend Dodo. Dodo, you want to say hello?
Hi, boys and girls. How you doing today?
I bet you they're doing well. Looking at the calendar, it's the 14th. It's Monday. So how was your weekend?
Mine was really great. How was yours?
Mine was pretty good too. Well, today, boys and girls, we're going to be talking about odd and even numbers.
You're kind of odd.
Well, you're kind of odd too. Maybe you're even.
No, I'm not even. I'm odd.
You're a little bit of both. You're an odd bird.
You're an odd teacher.
Yeah, I am a little bit odd. Well, today we're going to be talking about even and odd numbers. But before we get going, boys and girls, first, I'd like to ask you if you know what the date is. So I'm going to move my camera a little bit closer here. And here is today right here. So that means it's what date? Well, if you said September 14th, you were right. So you would write that out like this, September. I'm going to run out of space, so I better start over a little bit more. September 14, 2020. That's the date for today. Hope you can see that, September 14, 2020. And if we wanted to put digits with it, September is the 9th month of the year. So we would write 9, 14, 20. Just like that, boys and girls. So that's today's date. I have a question for you, boys and girls. How many days are there in 1 week? How many days in a week? Well, if we look up here, we'd see there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days in a week. How about how many days in 2 weeks? If you said 14, you were right. How many days in 3 weeks? 3 weeks? 21. And if you remember, I have this little strip of paper up here, and these tell you the multiples of 7, starting at the bottom here. So basically, 1 times 7 is 7, 2 times 7 is 14, 3 times 7 is 21, 4 times 7 is 28, and 5 times 7 is 35. So if I would say, how many days in a week, you would say 7. How many days in 2 weeks? 14. How many days in 3 weeks? 21. How many days in 4 weeks? 28. How many days in 5 weeks? 35. So when I ask you about the days of the week, you should be slowly but surely memorizing these. So you'll be able to close your eyes and say 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, and so on. Okay? So just be trying to memorize it as I ask you how many days in 1 week, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay? Who would like to tell me the day of the week 5 days ago? So if we were looking, here's today. What was it 5 days ago? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was the 9th, which means it was Wednesday. So when I ask you what day of the week it is, you're always going to tell me a word like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, things like that. Who would like to tell me what the date was or will be on the first Tuesday of this month? So it's was because we already started the month. So what was the date of the first Tuesday of this month? Well, it was right up here. Not because it says number 1, but because it was the first Tuesday of the month. And it was the first. That's when we started school. If we are right here, what was it 1 week ago? 1 week ago, we just go back this way. It was Labor Day, the 7th. So it was the 7th of September. Now, let's turn this over a little bit and let's say the months of the year together. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. How many months are there in a year? 12. You got it. You got it right. Now, coming over here, if today is September 14th, 2020, what was the date 2 months ago? If this is the date today, what was the date 2 months ago? Ago means go backwards. Well, you could either look on the list right here. So here's September. If you go backwards, it's August or July. It was July 14th, 2020. Or you just look at this number here, the 9, and you subtract 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. And that would be the 7th month of the year, which is July. All right? Okay. I tell you what, how about if we count by tens to 95 beginning at 5? Okay? We're going to count by tens to 95 starting at 5. So it would be 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. Good job, boys and girls. If we kept going from 95, we'd have to jump into the hundreds. 105, 115, 125. Good. Now let's count by hundreds from 0 to 1,200. Okay? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. Good. All right, let's look at our pattern for the day. Here's our pattern, if you can see that. It starts at 25, then 30, then 35. Do you notice how much it's going up, boys and girls? Yep. If you said it's going up by 5, you're right. So we would write plus 5 on the rule. So if we're at 35, we count the next 40, and then the next 45, then 50. So if we're adding that way, we have to subtract going this way. So what's 25 less 5 or minus 5? It's 20. And what's 20 minus 5? It's 15. What's 15 minus 5? 10. Okay? But then going that way, it all works out 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Good job, boys and girls. Well, let's look at our problem of the day. Here's what it says. Tohan's dog had puppies yesterday. On what date will the puppies be 1 year old? So if we look at the calendar, so let me push the computer up. He had puppies yesterday. So if this is today, that's the day he had puppies, on the 13th. Okay? So if Tohan's dog had puppies yesterday, let me lower the camera. Yesterday would be 9, 13, 20. What date will the puppies be 1 year old? Well, we're going to go ahead 1 whole year, so it'll still be 9, still be 13, but it'll be 21. Can you imagine that, boys and girls? 2021, do you think we're going to make it to 2021? I sure hope so. All right, let's go over and let's count some of our money. I'm going to erase the date right here. And here, as you can see, we're counting by what? We're counting by that coin, nickels. So we just have to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 5s. And boys and girls, if I would lift this up like this, you would see that 7 5s right here, because it's 5 times 7, right? 5 times 7 is 35. And that's what we came up with, right? Yeah. So see how math works all together? Multiplication, coins, counting money, it all works together. Well, that's last thing. In fact, let me just show you something here. I want to show you some coins and see if you could help me tell how much are these coins. So here's the coins right here. Can you tell what they are if I show you really close? It's a quarter and a penny. So a quarter is worth how much? 25. And 25 plus 1 would be what? 26 cents. And if I turn it around like this, here's adding up all the amounts. 25 plus a penny is 26. Good. Let's do another one. Let's find one that doesn't have a lot of coins in it. Here's one that might work. Look at these coins. Can you count them and tell me how much money there is there? As I'm looking, I see 2 quarters, I see a dime, and I see 2 pennies, right? Here are the quarters, here's the dime, here are the 2 pennies. So how much would that be? Well, 1 quarter is 25, right? What's 25 plus another 25? Well, it'd be 50 cents. So 50 cents plus a dime is 60, then 61 and 62. And there it is. Okay? There's lots more cards that I have. Should I show you one more? That big, huge coin is known as a 50-cent piece. So right down here, let's see, right there it is. It's called a Kennedy half dollar. It's worth 50 cents. So there's a Kennedy half dollar, then there's a nickel, and then there's a penny. So we're at 50, plus 5 is 55, plus 1 is 56 cents. And that's exactly what it is, boys and girls, 56 cents. Okay, let's go on and finish with our time. There's our time right there. What time is that? You're right, it's 11:30. So 11:30, the hour hand will be here, and the minute hand goes down to the bottom. That's 11:30, or half past 11. If I would show you the clock here, you would see it 11:30, or half past 11. Then I would go up here, and what time is that? 12 o'clock. Good job. And if I would come down here, then it would be what time? Half past 12 or 12:30. Coming up here, it's what? 1 o'clock. Good. And then I come down here, and this would be what? Half past 1 or 1:30. All right. Good, boys and girls. Well, we did our good with our meeting time. And now what I'd like us to do is go over our lesson. So I'm going to stop this, and then I'm going to go over to my desk. Hi, boys and girls. This is Mr. Reuter back with you, and we're doing lesson number 9 in math. And today, let me show you exactly what we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to bring up my document camera, bring it up here so you can see it, and enlarge that. I'm going to make myself smaller. So today, I will learn how to identify even and odd numbers. So that's just what we're going to be doing. We're going to be learning about identifying even and odd numbers. And I think you probably already know what they are. But what I did is I have some objects here. The first one are my magnetic balls, and I'm not sure what these are called. But if I would look at these, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 magnetic. I don't think the balls are magnetic. These are magnetic. So I've got 4 steely marbles. And is 4 an odd number or an even number? Do you know? It's even. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And they're obviously even too. Let me come over here. Here I have 3 bottles of blowing liquid, so you could blow bubbles with these. 1, 2, 3. Is that odd or is that even? Well, they're odd. They're odd. Now I've got some paper clips here. Let's count them. Some of them are stuck together, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So is 16 even or odd? 16 is even. Let me get rid of these. And now I've got some cubes here. I didn't count any of these, I just grabbed them. So let's see, I'm going to count by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Is 14 odd or is it even? You're right, it's even. So what are odd and even numbers? Let me go like this. And there's the definition of odd and even numbers. Even numbers will always end with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Or another way to say that is even numbers will always have a 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 in their ones place value. Odd numbers, on the other hand, will always end with 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Or they will always have a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 in their ones place value. Okay, so that's how you can tell if an even number is even. It ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And basically what we're saying with an even number is if you would divide up those pieces into even parts, they would both have the same amount in them. There would be none left over. But with an odd number, you can divide it up evenly, but there's always going to be an amount left over. Okay? All right. Now, below, I have written down some numbers. And I want to ask you, are they odd or even? 67. Is 67 odd or even? Well, you look up here. Does the number end with a 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 or 1, 3, 5, 7? It ends with a 7, right? So that means this is an odd number. I'm going to write it there. 45. It ends with a 5. That means it's an odd number. 90. Well, 90 ends with a 0. So that means it's an even number. 4. 4 ends here, so that means it's an even number. 127. See, it doesn't matter how big the number gets, you can always tell if it's odd or even because it ends with a 7, and odd numbers end with a 7. So it'd be 127. How about 560? Well, look at what it ends with. It ends with a 0. That makes it an even number. And the last one, 773. It ends with a 3. There's a 3. That makes it odd. Okay? All right, I just have a few more numbers for your practice. 20. 20 ends with a 0. That makes it even. 341. It ends with a 1. That makes it odd. 875. It ends with a 5. That makes it odd. 692. It ends with a 2, which makes it even. 810. Well, it ends with a 0, so that makes it even. And the last one, 743. It ends with a 3. That makes it odd. Okay, boys and girls. So now, this is just a review for you. You can tell the difference between an even and an odd number. Even numbers always end in what? 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Odd numbers always end with what numbers? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Good job, boys and girls. Now, here's what I would like you to do. Weeks ago, we used this sheet, and I asked you to put it in your math folder, right? Remember that? I asked you to put it in your math folder. Well, here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to color 5 even numbers that are greater than 20 using a red crayon. Okay? I want you to color 5 even numbers that are greater than 20 using a red crayon. So I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to get my crayons. Going to get a red marker. Can I color in the 2? No, because the directions said they had to be greater than 20. So here's 20, so even numbers greater than 20, color the even numbers. Well, this is even, this is even, this is even. So as you look at these, boys and girls, watch. All of these are even numbers because they end in a 2. All of these are even numbers because they end in a 0. All of these, you'd have to start here, are even numbers because they end in a 4. All of these are even numbers because they end in a 6. All of these are even numbers because they end in an 8. So you could color numbers in any one of those columns. So if you want, get out a crayon and you can color them. So any number, they said greater than 20, right? So we could color this, this, this. We could color all of these here. Any number that ends in 0, you could color, and so on. All right? So why don't you do that right now? And then what I would like you to do is when you're done with this, you can always pause the video. Now we're going to go to our worksheets. So I'm just going to flip this like this. And I'm going to get our first transparency for side A. And you can turn to side A as well. Here we go. Let me enlarge this just so it's easier for you to see. Okay, there we go. Okay, and there's the light on, so I'm going to turn off the light so we can see. It says, first off, draw a 6-inch line segment. So what you can do is get out your yellow ruler, or if you have a hard ruler, you can get that out. But I'm just going to put mine down here. There's 6 inches right there. Oh, it's kind of sticky today. There's 6 inches. I also have my ruler here, so I could take away this one. I could put my hard ruler out, and there's 6 inches too. Do you see it? 6 inches. Okay, good. This says Alberto's cat is 2 months old today. On what date was he born? Okay, so today, up on the date line, I can't write on my transparency, but I'll just write here, 9/14/20. So if that is today, 9/14/20, what was it 2 months ago? Well, we subtract 2 from the 9. That means 7/14/20. And what's the 7th month? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So he was born on July 14th, 2020. That's what you'd write up there. Next one. This says measure the length and width of the rectangle to the nearest inch. So that's what I'm going to do using my ruler. I already did it. Well, the length, as you can see, is 4 inches, right? If I move myself, you can see it, 4 inches. That means this line and this line are 4 inches. And then the width is what? 2 inches. And that's what I wrote there. 4 inches and 2 inches. Next one. This says circle the even numbers. So I'm looking for numbers that end in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And I found that this one ended with a 2, 0, and an 8. So these are even numbers. And these numbers, this ended in a 5, a 7, and a 1. So these are odd numbers. So I put an X on them. Okay, all right, next one. This is from a lesson we did last week. Put these numbers in order from the least to the greatest. You got to be careful that you read the directions because this says least to the greatest. Sometimes a question might say from the greatest to the least. Well, I put them in order. Smallest one is 11. then 29, then 37, then 68, then 73. Good. Next one. This says write each sum. Then circle two facts that are examples of the commutative property of addition. So I added up all of these. And I wrote down the answers. 9 and 9 is 18. 7 and 1 is 8. 1 and 9 is 10. 0 and 2 is 2. 0 and 5 is 5. 4 and 4 is 8. 5 and 1 is 6. And 9 and 1 is 10. And then remember what a commutative number is, or a commutative problem. It's just where you switch around the addends. So it would be this one, 1 plus 9 or 9 plus 1. Either way, when you switch around the addends, you get the same answer, the same sum. And our last one. This says, complete the number pattern and write the rule. So this was similar to the one we did up on the board, 20, 25, 30, we're counting by fives. So we write plus 5. And if we keep counting by fives, 30, 35, 40, 45, going this way, we have to subtract by 5. So this is 15, 10, 5. But this rule still holds because going this way, we're still counting by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay, boys and girls? All right, now what I would like you to do is I would like you to work on side B. And when you're done, we will correct it. Also, I would like you to work on this. This is your class practice sheet. And by the way, we are going to have an assessment tomorrow on your facts. So especially today, what you want to do is you want to make sure you know you're adding 0, 1s, and doubles facts. So those would be the A cards. Okay, so I want you to work on this sheet too, and when you're done, come on back and we'll correct them. Okay, so right now, I want you to stop, pause the tape, stop the tape, work on your problems, and then come back. Okay, boys and girls, we are back. And first off, let's correct our side B. Okay? So the first one, what was the date? 1 month ago? Well, if I take out my pencil here, I put it somewhere. There's my pencil. Well, if the date today was 9/14/20, 1 month ago, we'd subtract 1. It was 8/14/20. That means it was August 14th, 2020. Next one. The time on that clock, 4:30. Next one. It says circle the even numbers. I did. 46, 70, 128. The other ones are odd. Next one. These are numbers in order from the least to the greatest. Move it over a little bit. There you go. Then I wrote the sum for each of the problems. And then I circled the two commutative property ones. Just switch the addends, 1 and 6 or 6 and 1. And then the last one. Let me move myself out of the way. Here, the rule is, once again, adding by fives. So 60, 65, 70, 75. And this way we have to subtract by 5, but still the rule applies. 35, 40, 45, 50, and so on. Okay? All right. Now, I also asked you to do this sheet, right? So I'm going to show you the answers for side A, but I also want to remind you how I do these when I am timed. I always start at this end so I can see the next problems, and my mind can be thinking of the answers. If I go like this, and I'm just working on this one, I can't see the next ones. So, I mean, you can do it any way you want, but this is one way to do it. So, 7, 4, 9, 10, 2, 16, 8, 2, 5, 6, 12, 3, 8, 7, 1, 3, 9, 4, 6, 6. So let me reduce this so you can see all the answers. Okay, and you can correct them. You can correct your sheet with my sheet. You can pause the video if you want to correct it, but I'm going to go on to side B right now. It says ask somebody to time you for a minute, because when we do the fast facts, you'll be given a certain amount of time. You have to try to do it in 1 minute or whatever the time is. Otherwise, when I say stop, only what you've done will count, and the other ones would be considered wrong. Yeah. So you gotta learn to try to speed up and do it in proper time. So if I would do this, watch. I'm going to take off my watch. See my watch? 0, 0. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to start it and see how fast I can do it. Stop, 17 seconds, right? So these should be all the right answers, and you can check yours with mine. If you did it as fast as I did, wow, that's pretty good. I'm not the fastest in the world. Sometimes my brain doesn't think so fast when I do subtraction, but it's pretty fast when I do adding, but that's why I go from this side so I can see the next one's coming. Did I make any mistakes that you can see? I hope I didn't. All right, boys and girls, well, that's today's math lesson. And don't forget to study your flashcards, adding zeros and ones and doubles, because tomorrow you're going to have an assessment. You're going to have to do that in maybe a minute or so. Okay? All right. Well, thank you very much, boys and girls. You have an awesome day. It's been good to work with you today. Bye.